bit of a community update from the good people at Creative Mornings. We now have 207 cities, including our good selves, in 65 different countries. We have 20,000 people come to these a month, which is ridiculous. 7,626 talks online, which about 7,620 of them aren't as good as the ones that Futureproof do. Thank you very much, Futureproof. And they have 8.7 million video views, which I think is mainly ours, if I'm honest. I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure we're there. So today's theme is by Milwaukee chapter. So in case you don't know how Creative Mornings works, we as the cities pick topics, and then everybody around the world in all of the 207 cities have to talk about this the same topic. And this one's illustrated and chosen by Milwaukee. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Milwaukee? American place. So I suppose we'll crack on with the main event, the special edition. Sharon has assured me that this is a little bit odd, right? Absolutely. Excellent. So Sharon Roberts is a community member here. She's come to all of them, hasn't you? Pretty much. Oh, it's very kind. But she's also one of my oldest friends and mentors and a very dear person to me. So if we would give a good welcome for Sharon Roberts to take the stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can I just say, I hope we're still friends after this.
So me too.
Yeah. Because I did, just as a disclaimer, I did say, can I do anything? You went, you can do anything. Can I turn up in my PJs? You can turn up in what you like, within reason, obviously. So today's theme, obviously, is about Lost. And we're going to go up, we're going to go down, we're going to go through a bit of a journey. But what I will say is, if there are any triggers or anything makes you feel that you need to talk to somebody after today, or this morning you feel like you just want to get out 5 minutes, then please do so. Because just like life, it's a bit of a roller coaster. And the reason I'm in pyjamas today is Children in Need Day, but I also believe that sometimes our dreams can become our nightmares. Or if you're Stephen King, your nightmares become your dreams and you get ka-ching. So it's kind of getting a bit of a balance. But what we're going to do to kick off, because I wasn't absolutely sure whether today was going to go ahead, because a few of us have been affected by the floods. I thought we need something, a bit of energy, a bit of passion, a bit different. So I've got 2 fabulous volunteers for an exercise that we're going to do. So Denise has been volunteered, so come put your hands together for Denise, thank you. Do you just want to tell us who you are, Denise, and what you do, very briefly, very quick?
Yeah, so I've had some nice conversations with a few of you already this morning. So recently I went as a freelance writer. I'm a spoken word poet, but I've got a background in marketing and customer service previous as an employee. So now I'm freelance.
No, a willing victim. Sorry, no, volunteer. There we go. Take a seat, thank you. And we've got the lovely Paul, who is just brilliant, thank you. Here we go. Thank you. So, Paul, do you want to just tell everybody what you do?
Yeah, I support schools to share their teaching with each other and with parents all around the world.
Oh, brilliant. And today, Paul is going to be our communicator. You're probably thinking, what has this got to do with Lost? But as I take you on this journey, I hope everything will fit together and it will make sense. So, Denise has kindly offered to be blindfolded, and she's going to work her way around the table, picking up the poker chips, being directed by the lovely Paul. But one thing Denise has got to avoid around the table, is a few mouse traps. But we promise we will look after you. Yes. How's your fingers? Okay. Why do I feel like I'm doing a Paul McKenna? Anyway, here we go. So, right, I will just make sure these are working. Okay.
Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Paul, do you want to explain a little bit more? Oh, sorry, Denise, just making sure they work.
So I'm going to guide your hands just by talking, I presume. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm going to spread out the poker chips around the table. Then I'm going to see how many we can pick up. Is that right?
That's right. Listen to the instructions. Can you see?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You're sure? Okay, good. So, there we go. because I'm obsessed with time, because if you're not careful, we get lost in time as well.
Okay,
So,
are
are we ready?
Okay, Denise.
Let's see if we can do this. Go.
I'll do my best. Right, so,
So will I.
put your hand out.
Which one?
Both hands. Let's do both. Okay, now you choose which one you're going to lead with, and I'll just...
Well, I'm right-handed,
Okay,
so that one.
yeah, okay, so reach out. Not that far. A bit to your left. Yeah, and then bit forward, and slowly down, slowly.
Down.
Yeah. Oh.
Can I talk?
Oh,
Oh,
no,
feel
not there,
something.
not there. Yeah, okay, so, oh yeah, down,
There,
yeah,
yeah. Oh, I
perfect.
can feel one.
One.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
One. Oh, I feel I'm on I'm a celebrity.
Using your other hand,
Left.
right to the far end of the table. Keep going, keep reaching. Slightly down, bit further.
Down.
Bit further.
Am I going down?
Yeah.
Yeah, down,
Perfect,
down. Yeah, I've got
Excellent.
one. Right.
Round of applause. Right hand,
Right.
straight. Down. Touch the table. Oh, did you feel it?
Oh, what's that?
It's okay, sorry.
Found myself in trouble. Yeah, down,
Down. Am I going down?
forwards, and slightly
Forward.
to the right. Slightly to the right. Keep going.
Ooh,
To the right. No, to the left. Straight ahead.
No.
Yeah.
Left.
And just by your little finger.
Right, you've got to pick up the pace now. Got to get going.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right,
Perfect.
go.
Left hand on the table. Down.
Down.
Down. Keep going. Perfect. And again.
And again.
Yeah.
Left.
Just as you did. Down. And little finger. Perfect. And again. On your thumb this time. Your thumb.
Oh, you've got 1 minute. Got what? 1 minute.
Where's it going?
quick.
No, quick.
Oh, there we
Which
go.
hand?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Are we
Forwards,
ready? Go.
Forwards, forwards. And down. Fearless.
So we're fearless.
Utterly fearless.
There we go.
Where am I going?
You've done.
You've done.
Oh, I've done.
Right. Take off your... Right. How did that feel?
Oh, well, I trusted you.
Can we just first of all give him a round of applause? Thank you. Take a seat. Okay, thank you. One of the reasons I chose that exercise is because I think when you're in business or in life in general, you've got to navigate your way around places. And if you're not careful, you're always looking for that big win. And sometimes that big win can become the downfall of you, or you're constantly searching. And just like poker, picking up the chips, it's like you're picking up some clients. That sounds wrong on so many levels, doesn't it? Especially because after Tim said we've got some table action, so it's just making sure, So what I'm trying to get at is that sometimes going after the big win doesn't always work, and you've got to navigate your way around. And when you take on a new client or you're working with somebody new, sometimes you're completely blindfolded because there's always goalposts that are moved. There's always the other challenges that you can't see ahead of you. There's always the little things that they keep to themselves, and then you don't get to know about it. And I think one of the things for me about being lost was you can be going after that. You can be thinking, right, I'm going to go after that. I want that really big project. I want that really big win. When you get there and you look over, sometimes it's not that good. And I said today we're going to go up, we're going to go down. And one of the things I wanted to talk about being lost is we seem to spend more time chasing wealth than looking after our health. So one thing I would say from today is guard your health more than your wealth. So just put that at the back of your head. And over the years, being in business, I've been in business for over 25 years now. And in the early days, I would listen to other people, and it's a bit like when we were listening, what was interesting there, Denise said she trusted Paul. But sometimes we get that instinct where you think, I'm not sure about this. And having been through things, and when I asked him, can I send you this? I don't want to use what's on the website, because my website is absolutely shocking. I designed it when I was on drugs in hospital, I want to clarify that. After being screwed over by another guy who said he was going to build a website, and it didn't happen. So I was like to my, bring the laptop in. I will sit in the hospital bed and I will learn to do a website. And my husband said, but you don't know how to do a website. But I will learn. So it's not brilliant, but it does the job. And I think sometimes when we are so focused, we don't see the things around us where we do get lost. And I think this probably will be the first time I've really spoke about this, but I've come most people know in this room, I've come through so much trauma and so many other things that I've survived and I've got on and I've survived and I've come through that. But when we talk about lost, sometimes people will say, oh, well, you've lost a parent, you've lost this, you've lost that. I feel sometimes that we didn't put people down and they just disappeared. And at a very early age, and I'm saying this today because it is children in need, at a very early age, I lost my sister, and I was at primary school, and it was my task to look after her. And I remember checking on her, and when I went to check on her, she just wasn't breathing. And I remember my mum and people blaming me if you'd have checked on her mum, but it took me a long time to realise, actually, I was a child. I should have been, that's not my job. But that kind of was the foundation where I built all my career on trauma, overcoming trauma, fighting, making sure, you know, I did things. And I would always watch people. I'm obsessed with watching and learning about human behaviour. I'm obsessed with, why do they do that then? And then there's a particular time I got really lost in the business because we were chasing this really big client. And I thought, we need him. We got the client, it's great. And then when we got the client, I just thought, I'm not sure about you. There's something that just didn't feel right. I felt lost. But I wore with pride my badge of honour, my workaholic badge of honour, running around trying to do everything. And we had staff, we had teams, we had offices. But with this client, I thought, and it wasn't just this client, there was other things that I was beginning to feel a little bit lost as well. And through that process, I was in and out of hospital all the time. And I realised then, with this client, there's still something that doesn't feel right. So I'd go back and I'd talk to people and they'd go, oh no, it's okay, it's okay. So we'd invested everything, loads of time, loads of money into this client and the project that we were going to work on. And in the process of that, I became pregnant. And through that, I was like, oh great, it took a long time to get this. And it wasn't until I went for a scan, and then the lady who was doing the scan said, actually, your baby's got no heartbeat. And that was like, and to my husband, who's not got children, I had to explain to him what that meant. So, and then the next day, and this is where I was completely lost, the next day you think I'd be at home, wouldn't you? Like, no. Badge of honour, workaholic. What did I do? I got up on a stage the next day and gave a motivational talk because it was running. And at the same time realising, still wasn't happy with this client. And we did get our fingers burnt. Actually, I feel like I got my fingers broken with that client. And it took a lot to learn to step away. That customer service for me, and I would say for some people who are ever watching this, is not about bending over backwards to please everybody. So it is about the things that we get lost. And it's looking at, well, where have you got lost? Because for me, I've got awards, I've got things at home, I've got some great people, and I got sick of people saying, who's the most important person in your phone? Well, my son. Sorry, husband, if you're watching. So it's those kind of things. And it wasn't until I'd gone through that grief and that trauma and put myself through trauma therapy, I realised, why can't I cope with this? I've coped with so much. At one stage, I'd lost 2 people. We say lost, I'd lost 2 people who had died on the same day in different parts of the East Midlands. One in the morning, one in the evening, and I had an event to do in the evening. So you kind of just suck it all up and get on with it. And what I've realised over the years, if you're not careful, you will lose who you are by not looking at what are you avoiding. So today, and I know that's been a bit heavy, but today I wasn't sure to talk about that, but I think because it's Children in Need Day today, we can make a difference. If we can just do one thing to help somebody else who have been a bit lost, to help them find their path, to bring back that light a little bit, to make them shine a little bit more. So for me, the reason I'm in pyjamas today is because my dreams became my flipping nightmares, negotiating with banks on overdrafts, doing things like that and making sure and paying staff before we paid ourselves. All those things are great, but if you're not careful, you will start to dip. And it's where do you take that strength and that courage to put your head above the pit and say, I'm a little bit lost, I need a little bit of help. And the first event I came to here, somebody asked me, what is your tip? What's your business tip? What would you give to people? And my answer was very quick. I would tell people to fudge off quicker. And stay in your own lane. Because we are so busy chasing other things that we don't realise what we've actually got. So, when I knew I was going to do a talk about loss, and I asked ages ago, I knew I was going to talk about loss, grief, but I also wanted to make sure I gave something back, so it's not just all dark and deep. And so one of the things I would say to you today is, what problems are you avoiding in business and in your personal life? And what are the consequences of that? So when we get a little bit lost, we just kind of go into a bit of denial sometimes and don't want to acknowledge it, don't want to acknowledge that. I don't want to acknowledge the fact that I'm having to deal with this. So you need to look at what is really going on. What are you overlooking? What doesn't sit right with you? At the minute, standing in my pyjamas. And what don't you want to do? And it's also about looking at where is, I know we talk about the bigger picture, but when the day comes, and I can't thank this guy enough because he's been 24/7, he's stuck around, and I don't know why he's put up with me, but he has. And he knows all about hospital visits and the ups and the downs and all the rest of it. And one of the things is I just think you need to look at the people you've got on your phone, you need to look at your friends, you need to look at your clients, and you need to look at what you don't want. And now just imagine if you got up on Christmas morning, you've got 2 great big boxes, gorgeous boxes, and in that box you think, right, I'm going to shove all the crap and things I don't want into that box, and in that box I'm going to take out all the lovely things. Because we spend too much time sorting other people's mess out and not looking at what do we need to do. So you need to look at sometimes what are you not factoring in. I think for me, when we took the bigger clients on, it was cash flow. Keep an eye, it's a big thing. We just take on that bigger client, you think, yeah, got it. And I've learned over the years that the best contracts in the world, you can still get screwed over. So it really is making sure you've got things tight. And I was thinking about, okay, so lost. Let's break it up a little bit. So now I'm going to talk about getting lost in you. So here's a few things I came up with, which I'm sure I've read over the years. Give yourself permission. You've got the permission to make mistakes. If this doesn't work, it doesn't work. You won't be there when I'm buried. You'll not be there when I'm taking my last breath. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But we spend so much time worrying what other people think instead of thinking, why not just give it a go? You've got the right to change your mind in personal and business. You've got the right to walk away from a client. If you haven't, and I would say, make sure that your contracts or your T's and C's have got an exit strategy in them. We had an exit strategy. I just didn't listen to it. And what is your exit strategy? And don't be afraid to say, it's not working. There was one woman, I was in a very big meeting, we had a big contract with her, and she just said to me, think you forget, Sharon, I put food on your table. Those who know me knows, like, well, I had to bury the dark, richy side of me really deep. I was like, think you forget, I don't have to eat the food that you put on my table. It lost me £250,000 in a contract overnight, but the thing is, we are creative people, and sometimes the creative industry is overlooked and overused. So it's how do we pull that back? And you've got the right to say, I don't really understand this. How is this going to work then? We'll do an exchange of skills. I'll give you all of this, but what do I get back? Do an exchange of skills if there's leverage, if the leverage works for both of you, not just one of you. This is my favourite. You have the right to deal with other people without worrying about all the opinions and the effect it's going to have. You don't have to wait to have the approval of everybody else. So we spend so much time wondering, what will they think of us? Don't. So that was yourself. This is when you're getting lost and when you're dealing with difficult clients. Put your hands up if you've ever had to deal with a difficult client. Oh God, brilliant. How does it make you feel? Come on, somebody shout something. Rubbish, doesn't it? You come away feeling, ugh. Then if you're not careful, you take that somewhere else. I do martial arts, so my goes somewhere else. It needs to go somewhere else. But I think the thing is, I've made a note of this. I thought, there's always a negative nail. There's always a person that, oh, no, that will never work. The stinker think, oh, I'm not really sure about that. We tried that last time, didn't work. Well, this is what I want. And you've always got the people who just won't see your vision of how you can make that project different and better and make it shine. So you've got to build your emotional wall up. If you imagine there's a giant brick wall, and each brick that you put in there, instead of using those bricks to beat yourself up, imagine that with each brick, you put something about your self-esteem, your confidence, what you've done. You've made it this far. You've overcome so much. Just keep going. So I would definitely say, when you're dealing with difficult people and difficult customers, or you can't say difficult people, I keep getting told off for this, and I get a lot of social media trolls, just in case you're watching, I'm still here. Who tell me, you can't have difficult people, it's difficult behaviour, trust me, there's difficult people. Or what I like to call working with people you can't stand. So, when I see people getting lost at networking events, and they go networking, and they all just hide in the corner because they don't want to talk to anybody, they don't want to question anything. Don't be afraid to ask different questions. If you ask different questions at different networking events, you'd be amazed. Because sometimes people go, oh, what do you do? And that's great, but let's go with something different. I asked somebody the other day, what cartoon character would you be? Like, oh, I don't know. What would you be? Hong Kong Fooey. Yeah. Because if you don't pay me, I can break your fingers. No, that's just a disclaimer for myself. So, yes, I take that back. I wouldn't go breaking fingers.
We all know it's true,
Yeah.
so don't worry.
Yeah. So, and I think sometimes if you've got staff, sometimes you send the wrong person networking. They won't talk to people. Did you come back and talk to anybody? No, I don't want to talk to anybody. Well, what did you do? I just stood in a corner and drank my coffee and picked up a load of cards. Then really, don't go networking. I believe that networking is a bit like being married in a way. You've got to find the right people and to connect with. It's a relationship. You're building a relationship. And just like marriage, no, they don't all work. So it's finding the right relationship for you. You've got to learn to shine better and be proud of building profitable relationships. And when you're going for a contract or a tender, I love pitching. I've got no problem with pitching. One of the things I always say when we are pitching for work and doing work is, what more can I tell you to let you know we really want this project and we will go way and above means to make it happen and make it better. And we'll do it in budget, in time. So I think what I'm getting at is, don't be too British about what we can do. You know, you shine really well. Use those skills. So I'm conscious of time, sorry. So I want you to think for the next week and just remind yourself of a few things. Why do you do what you do? Some of you will do it because you just absolutely love it. Some of you will do it because you get paid to do it by other people. What is it what drives you? And whereabouts are you getting lost? It's a bit like getting in the car. If I get in the car with any of you, never listen to me. I never know a shortcut, ever. I always think I do, but I don't. And I'm one of those people that will argue with the sat-nav because I think I know a better way. I'm just not feeling that. I'm not feeling going right, I'm going left. And I'll turn up late. So it is a case of, you've got to navigate yourself. It's about tuning into a radio station. You wouldn't listen to a radio station if it was out of frequency. But we get lost and we don't tune into ourselves. So it's about tuning yourself back in. What is it that shapes your projects? What is it that shapes where you are at the moment? There's a great tip, I can't remember who said it, but I really believe there are 5 people in your network that you are not utilising enough. So look at the people in your network, the people that you've got around you. How can we use that better? And then the last thing is, if you do, or when you get lost, make sure you kind of come back. Because sometimes all it takes is da-da-da-da-da. See? I hear people say, I'm just hanging on. Sometimes you have to tie a knot in it. Hang on a little bit tighter. But talk to somebody, because when you do get lost, it can be a very lonely place. But sometimes getting lost can be a beautiful place to find yourself. Because one of the reasons I asked for Tim to put this up is that picture doesn't fit. It's Harry Potter trying to do way too many things, giving him a lightsaber. And someone actually asked me, why is he doing that with his hand? And then I knew I was old. So it is a case of, you've got to find the right picture for you. And their last slide, thank you, is, I believe lost is a lovely place where you discover yourself again. And it's taken me years. I think I got to 50 last year and decided, you know what, I'm doing this. This is where I want to be. And I've given up some work, given up some projects, and finishing my degree. And it is a case of, loss can be beautiful, but at the same time, it's got to be for you. It's your story. You shape it. So, for me, loss is a beautiful place. And thank you so much for coming today. Thank you to you guys. And let me use the mouse traps and being in pyjamas and everything else, because it's just been beautiful to do this. So, thank you. And thanks for coming.
Thank you very much. Sharon Roberts, ladies. Well done. Oh,